Today we're going to be taking a look at two new products that I think are really exciting for the budget filmmaking community. Aputure is one of my favorite lighting companies, and they've produced a lot of really exciting and innovative lighting products over the past several years. And the technology that they're spearheading and innovating in has been getting more and more complex, but it's also been getting more and more expensive. A lot of Aputure loyalists like myself have been really excited about their new lights, but couldn't quite justify the price points for my personal setup. So I was thrilled when they announced that they would be releasing new budget lights, because that's the space that I reside. Low budgetville, low budget land. I don't know what's what, but I got two different lights to take a look at today. Today we're going to be unboxing the Aputure Amaran 100D and 200D and seeing how they might look in a lighting setup. One of the ways Aputure was able to keep the cost down is by not including a fancy case. That's okay because I like storing my equipment in hard cases anyways, so I'll be cutting out some custom foam for these. Foam here. Oh, is that an ant? No, I think that's just a piece of styrofoam stuck in there. Here we have a work of literature for some light daytime reading. More foam. And I cannot see inside this box, but you can up there. So over here, we've got a reflector bell. Please remove it before use. I will, believe you me. The main reason that I love these Bowens lights is because of the wide array of light modifiers already available on the market. Several years ago, only photographers really used Bowens mounts, but with the advancement of LED technology, now we're able to have a concentrated point of LED light, so we can also use Bowens mounts for a lot of video applications as well. And let's just dig in here and see what we find. We've got a power cable right here with Aputure branding on it, nice. Over here we've got power brick with an extra long cable, so no dangling power bricks anymore. It's got a wire too in case you want to attach it to a light stand or C-stand. And here we have the light itself. Ooh, check that out. Almost forgot the sticker sheet. So here's everything included in the box. Take a little look. They kind of want to eliminate the dangling brick situation. So these will reach up. Ooh, let's see. Take a look at the Lin-Manuel. Okay, it doesn't say how long the cable is. Should I measure it? This cable's about 9.5 feet long, and that's not even including this guy that connects it to the wall. So as long as your light's not higher than 9 feet, your brick should be on the floor, hopefully, theoretically. I will say that this bell is a little bit sturdier than a lot of my other ones. Here's the main unit itself. It's got a nice little cover. Let's hit this latch to release it. Smells good. Looks like a fried egg. Looks like there's a little protective surface over the LED COB unit, which is not the case for my other Aputure COB unit. I've still been running my Aputure 120T. That's before the daylight version existed, so I'm really happy I have these daylight balanced versions now. The part where the light actually attaches to the stand looks really sturdy machined metal there. And this part, this is all plastic, but it feels pretty good. Real world use will be the deciding factor, but it feels pretty good. This knob right here is metal. The rest of the body is plastic, but it doesn't feel like super cheap plastic. It feels like kind of mid to high grade plastic. Of course it doesn't feel as good as an all metal design, but that's one of the ways that they've been able to cut the costs on this guy. It's also really nice they added this umbrella holder in case you want to use an umbrella. This is fancy, I've never seen this before. The cable that connects the brick to the wall is a little locking system, so it won't come undone unless you pull this little latch. Oh, fancy town. Fancy town. Won't you take me to a fancy town? Ooh, it just went on right away. I feel like I'm wielding a magic orb. I feel like Gandalf. You've got this nice little display on the back that you can see in the dark, and if you click this button, you can increase the light by 20% increments. Or you can use the dial to fine-tune the exact brightness you want. Oh, it came with the switch on. There's an on and off switch too. Another way they kept the price down on these guys is they did not include a remote. As a one-man operation, I love having that little remote so I can adjust the lights while seeing what they do behind the camera. However, in lieu of a remote, they have an app. And here's the 200D. The contents of the box are pretty much the same, so I'm not going to go through all that malarkey again. Only difference, the power brick is a little bit larger. We can see they're basically identical in size, but on the 200D, the COB is significantly bigger. Now the reason I got both a 100D and a 200D instead of getting 200Ds and having a little bit more versatility is I heard, and we'll see if this is true, that the 200D actually makes a little bit more noise than the 100D, while the 100D runs pretty silently. 98% of what I shoot doesn't require sound, so the 200D is probably going to be my main workhorse, but for the instances where sound does become an issue, I want the silent guy just in case. So we're going to do a basic sound test to see if the fan on this is significantly louder than the 100D. Let's turn it on at full bore. So the light's been on for a little bit, and as it warmed up, the fan kicked in. That's not a pleasant sound. Placing the light about 1 inch from the mic. It's not terrible, but it's not great either. So let's compare that to the 100D. And again, we're going to hold that up 1 inch from the mic. I don't know about you, but that seems quieter to me. Both of them actually aren't that bad, but depending on how sensitive your mics are or where the lights are placed, might be worth considering. If you've never owned any Bowens mount lights before, there's a vast array of attachments you could put on these lights. Like this giant strip box that I never use. But I probably will now that I have more Bowens lights. The Bowens mount was developed by English poet and philosopher David Bowens, who once said, "Let's sway, under the moonlight, the serious moonlight." And I believe what he was referring to was the simulation of moonlight that you can create with his Bowens mount. But let's cut the jibba jabba. Let's do a creative lighting setup with just these two lights. So it's pretty neat that instead of the remote where you can adjust up and down and on and off, but this you can see the exact percentage from where you are on the phone. I believe you can even save settings for different lighting setups, which is pretty nifty. They have special lighting modes, so this is fireworks in case you want to gel this and have, like, I guess fireworks going off to simulate fireworks. Large flashes followed by dimming. Or, let's see how this works, paparazzi. Yeah? What do you think? Explosion. Strobe, for you least strobalists. Pulsing. That's not repulsing. TV. Is it going? Oh, there. Little changes, little subtle changes. Lightning. And I think this is probably going to be the best one. Faulty bulb. For when you want to go to Bible college and get a nice moody look. These are really nice lights. I really like them. They represent colors very accurately. It gets really bright. That's actually, yeah, uncomfortably bright. And the app is pretty nifty, I must say. Each of these lights come in daylight, and there's also a bicolor version available as well. The bicolor ones range from daylight to tungsten, but you don't get as much brightness out of those, so that's why I opted for the daylights. So you could create this very simple light setup with only 2 lights. I am, however, using 2 modifiers as well. I've got this deep parabolic softbox umbrella fold out by Glow. We'll link to that in the description below. I love this modifier. It's really fancy. It's got a little deflector plate on the inside which reflects the light out to the outside, which reflects it forward. There's an inner baffle, a forward baffle, and a little egg crate in the front to direct the light exactly where you want it. And back there, I've got the long strip softbox that has an inner baffle and a diffusion in the front. I wanted to show you what you could do with just 2 lights, but at this price point, they're so cheap you could just get a whole bunch of them. Throw them around like popcorn. Just throw in there, put some blue over there, throw some purple over there. I don't care, do whatever you want. So there you have it. Quality and affordability. That's Aputure in a nutshell. Do I recommend these? Absolutely. Check out the description box for links to both of these products. And leave a comment down below. I'm really curious to know what your favorite modifier is because there's so many options out there. If you found this video at all helpful, please remember to like and please consider subscribing. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, I'll be here in the dark, waiting for your phone call, to which I will ignore. David Bowens.